Since the Prime Minister has promised the good government starts today, when is the Prime Minister going to scrap the GP tax, the $100,000 fees, the $6,000 cuts to families? When is the Prime Minister going to tell the truth that, in fact, absolutely nothing is changing?
Madam Speaker, the big lie, Madam Speaker, came from members opposite going into the last election when they told us that the deficit would be $18 billion. That was the big lie from members opposite who went into the last election telling us that the deficit would be just $18 billion. Well, Madam Speaker, it turned out to be $48 billion. A $30 billion budget black hole that they knew about, that they wouldn't tell us about, and that they created. Madam Speaker, the members opposite delivered a debt and deficit disaster, and this government is doing what it can. Doing what it can to end the intergenerational theft that members opposite have inflicted on our children and grandchildren. That's what this government is doing. We are saving our children and our grandchildren from the chaos that members opposite created. And, Madam Speaker, having created the problem, they are in denial about it and they are sabotaging the solution. $28 billion worth of savings are currently being obstructed by the Leader of the Opposition in the Senate, including $5 billion worth of savings that they supported before the election. So, Madam Speaker, this is a Leader of the Opposition with not a single positive idea for our country. It's all very well to complain. It's all very well to engage in sneer and smear across this dispatch box, but you cannot become Prime Minister of this country without having a positive plan, and we've had absolutely nothing from this Leader of the Opposition except bring back the carbon tax, bring back the mining tax and bring back the people smugglers. That's his plan.
My question is to the Minister for Communications. Under broadcasting licences issued by the Commonwealth last year, Australian television stations relayed footage of an interview the Minister for Communications did on the Alan Jones program. The Minister said, quote, "I support unreservedly and wholeheartedly every element in the budget, every single one." Minister, were these broadcasts accurate and appropriate uses of the broadcasting licences?
I have to compliment the honourable member of that rather elaborate way he's tried to make this question relevant to my portfolio. But of course, every single member of the government supported every element in the budget. Of course, it is we are a united government, and you know the Labor Party make the great mistake. The Labor Party make the great mistake of seeing their opponents through the prism of their own disunity, of imagining that we are as fractured and faction-ridden as them, imagining that we have got dissension in our ranks in the way they did under the Labor Party. Well, I see the smiling opposition leader, Madam Speaker. This is the hero of the Huang-Ho Lazy Susan. Here he was turning the table on his leader. He's not only deposed one leader, he's deposed two. He had second thoughts, he couldn't even stick. See, yeah, second course. Prime Minister's quite right. First course was Rudd, second course was Gillard. And then he went back to the first course. Well, you can do that in a Vietnamese restaurant, I suppose. You can just go back to the beginning of the menu. But oh, really, Madam Speaker, the truth of the matter is interviews with Alan Jones are always entertaining, you know, always entertaining. He's a very colourful interviewer, and I was delighted to see parts of that interview broadcast. It was a colourful one, and one where each of us stood our ground. I would say that you could say of Mr Jones, and I think he would probably say it of me, that we're often wrong but never in doubt. It's important to stand up to him and not to be bullied by him. And I must say that over the years, the great mistake that politicians have made, including the member for Watson Knows, a Labor Premier of New South Wales, is to allow yourself to be bullied by the media. It is absolutely vital to win the respect of the public of the public and indeed of the media itself to stand your ground and stand up for what you believe in and not be bullied into an echo chamber. That is the critical thing. Oh, climate change. The leader of the opposition. This is the man that persuaded Kevin Rudd not to go to a double dissolution. This is the man that led Kevin Rudd over the cliff into an abyss where he then stabbed him in the back. You have no credibility on integrity, leader of the opposition.